Brahmanda Purana, Part 5, Lalita Mahatmya, Chapter 34. The region of Shiva and of the guardians of quarters. Agastya said, "What is that chakra, circle, with 16 outer coverings and with Rudra as the presiding deity?" The footnote says, as this verse suggests, this chapter, main portion at least, describes the chakra of 16 avaranas with Rudra or Maharudra as the central presiding deity. He is always alert with his bow. In the enclosing triangle are three Rudras, viz. Hiranyavahu, Senani, and Dishampati. The names of Rudras in different avaranas, 16 in all, show the palpable influence of Satarudriya, from which they, that is, the epithets, are borrowed and arranged around Maharudra. The meanings of the names of different Rudras make it clear how the Rudra was given benevolent and malevolent epithets, and as such the concept was complex in those times. Traditional duties of Trinity, of creation Brahma, maintenance Vishnu, and destruction Rudra, are a simplistic and inadequate presentation. These Rudras stay in the northeast of the Pearl Chamber and protect the devotees of Lalita. Verse number 1 to 52. Who are the Rudras stationed there? By what name are they glorified? In which circular outer coverings and with which designation do they stay? O storehouse of mercy, mention their names with their derivative as well as conventional meanings. Hayagriva said, there the abode of Rudra is said to be made out of cluster of pearls. It is rendered splendid. It is 5 yojanas long and 5 yojanas wide. It has 16 outer coverings. It is very splendid and pleasing, with a pitha stool seat in the middle. On that central pitha, O sage Maharudra sits permanently, blazing with anger and having bow ready strung. He keeps his hand always over it. He has 3 eyes. In the three-corner triangle and first covering, O pot-born sage, 3 Rudras are mentioned as seated, viz. Hiranyavahu, Senani, and Dishampati. The footnote says, an analysis of the Maharudra chakra shows the following distribution of Rudras. Avarana, a triangle, Rudras posted. Avarana, hexagon, 6 Rudras. Octagon, 8 Rudras. Decagon, 10. A wheel chakra with 16 spokes, 16 Rudras. After this, merely Avarana, number, and the names of Rudras posted there are given. In 16 Avaranas, 258 Rudras are posted. My sources do not possess such a figure of Rudra Yantra. The Rudras stationed in the hexagon are Vrikshaha, Harikesha, Pashupati, Shashpinjara, Tvisiman, and Pathinampati. The Rudras in the octagon are Babrusha, Bibhyadhi, Annapati, Harikesha, Upavitin, Pustanampati, Bhava, and Heti. In the Decagon, the first one is Jagatampati and the others are Rudra, Atatavin, Kshetrapati, Suta, Ahamanya or Ahantya, Vanapati, Rohita, Sthapati, and Vrikshanampati. These have kept their bows in readiness. In the duodecagon, 12-sided figure, the Rudras are Mantri, Vanija, Kakshapati, Bhavanti is the fourth, Bhag Vibhu is the fifth, Osadhinampati is the sixth, Uchair Ghosha, Akrandayan, Patinampati, Kritsnavita, Dhava, and Satanampati. This is the fifth outer covering. The following should be known as the deities Rudras of the sixth outer coverings, viz. Sahamana, Nirbhyadhi, Abhyadhinampati, Kakubha, Nishangi, Stenanampati, and Nicheru. The following 16 are the residents in the 16-spoked chakra, viz. Deity in the previous outer covering. The footnote says these are 7 and so the outer covering may be a heptagon. The text Adha Parivaro etc. should be Adhaya Paricharo. The first is Parichara, Aranyapati, Shrakavisha, Jighamsanta, Musnatampatayaha, Asimantaha, Asimantaha, Suprajna, Naktancharaha, Prakritinampati, Ushneshi, Gireshachara, Kulunchampati, Ishumantaha, Dhanvavidaha, Atanvana, Pratipurva, Dadhanaka, and Ayachata or Ayachantaha. In the eighth outer covering, there are 18 sets of deities, viz. Vishrajantaha, those who forsake, Asyantaha, those who throw, Vidyantaha, those who pierce, Asinaha, those who are seated, Sayanaha, those who are lying down, Yantaha, those who go, Jagrataha, those who keep awake, Nishtantaha, those who stand, Dhavantaha, those who run, Sabhyaha, Samadhipaha, Ashvaha, Ashvapatayaha, lords of horses, Avyadhinyaha, devoid of sickness, Vividhyantaha, Ganadhyakshaha, Vrahantaha, big ones, and Gritsa, suppressor of Vindhya mountain. The following Rudras are the deities of the ninth outer covering. Gritsadhipatis, Vratas, Vratadhipas, Ganas, Ganapas, Vishwarupas, Virupakas, Mahantaha, Kshullakasa, Rathins, Arathas, Rathas, Rathapatyas, Senas, Senanis, Kshattaras, Sangrahitras, Takshanaha, Rathakaraka, and Kulala. Various artisans are deified as Rudras. The following are the Rudras in the 10th outer covering, viz. Karmaras, Punjisthas, Nishadas, Ishukradganas, Dhanakaras, Mrigayus, Swanis, Swanas, Aswas, Ashwapatis, Bhava, Rudra, Sharva, Pashupati, Nilagriva, Sitikantha, Kapardi, Viptakesha, Sahasraksha, Shatadhanva, Girisha, Shipivishta, and Midhushtama. The following 24 Rudras are mentioned as occupying the 11th chakra, outer covering: Ishuman, Rashava, Vamana, Vrahan, Varshiyan, Vradha, Samriddhi, Agriya, Prathama, Asu, Ajira, Sigra, Sibhayaka, Urmyavasu, Anya Rudra, Srotasya, Divya, Jyeshtha, Kanishtha, Purvaja, Avaraja, Madhyama, Avagayama, and Jaghanya. All of them are very mighty. The following 26 deities are remembered as stationed in the 12th outer covering: Budhanya, Budnya, Somyarudra, Pratisarpaka, Yamayaka, Kshemya, Uvochava, Kali, Shlokya, Avasanyaka, Vanya, Kakshya, Shrava, Pratishrava, Asusena, Asuratha, Sura, Avivinda, Varmi, Varuthi, Velmi, Kavachi, Shruta, Sena, Dundubhya, Ahananya, and Drishna. They have huge bodies, they are very mighty. Listen, O sage, the following are the Rudras stationed in the 13 outer covering: Prabhrasas, Dutas, Prahitas, Nishangins, Ishudhiman, Yudhitakshneshu, Shwayudha, Sudhanva, Stutya, Pathya, Kapya, Natya, Sudha, Sarasya, Nadhamana, Veshantaha, Kupya, Avadhavarashya, Avarasya, Medhya, Vidyutya, Igre, Atapya, Vatya, Reshmya, Vastavya, Vashtupa, and Soma. All of them are very powerful. The following are mentioned as the Rudra deities in the 14th outer covering, O sage: Rudra, Tamararuna, Sanga, Pashupati, Ugra, Bhima, Agrevada, Durevada, Hanta, Hanyan, Vrasha, Harikeshaka, Tara, Sambhu, Mayobhu, Sankara, Mayaskara, Shiva, Shivatara, Tirtha, Tirthya, Kulya, Parya, Aparya, Pratararana, Uttarana, Atarya, Labhya, Shashtha, Shashpya, and Fenya. The following 32 Rudra Devatas, O intelligent one, stay permanently in the 15th outer covering with their weapons. Shikatya, Prabhahya, Irinya, Prapatya, O sage, Kimsila, Kshayana, thereafter Kapardi, Pulastya, Goshtya, Grihya, as also Talpya, Gehya, Katya, Gahavrashthe, Gahavareshta, Urudipaka, Hridaya, Niveshtya, Pantavya, Pamsavya, Rathanya, Rajasyaka, Shukya, Shushkya, Hariti, Alothas, Alohya, Lopyas, Urya, Surmya, Payeya, Parna, Paranasa, Vagura Manaka, Avigna Nasidu, Avignan and Akhidan, Prakhidan, Kirika and Devanamhridaya. In the 16th outer covering, the following four blazing deities staying in the doorways in the east, etc., worship Maharudra. Vikshinatkas, Vichinvatkas, Nirhatana Makash, and Amivaktras. Thus, Maharudra is served by the thousands of Rudras stationed in the 16 outer coverings. He carries out the behest of Lalita. He stays there in the northeast corner of the pearl chamber for the prosperity of the worlds. Enumerated in the Satarudriya scripture, these Rudras of great strength protect day and night all those who are richly endowed with devotion to Lalita. These deities put obstacles in the path of those who are not the devotees of Goddess Lalita. In this manner, the guardians of the quarters, beginning with Shakra, resort to the pearl chamber and perform service unto Lalita Parameshwari. Within the pearl chamber and 7 yojanas from it is the chamber of emerald. It is 4 yojanas in height. The footnote says, verse number 54 to 65 describe the emerald chamber of Dandanatha. It is rendered very splendid by means of the proper arrangements of the gopuras, etc., as before. Four mansions belonging to Dandanatha are built there in the intermediate corners between the quarters, beginning with southeast. They are as spacious and large as the abodes of Mantrini. Those deities who were stationed on the steps of the leading chariot Girichakra during the great war with Bhandasura stay here, always alert and watchful. All the grounds here are well paved with rows of emerald stones. They are very splendid. They are full of groves of golden palms. They are equipped in plenty by all the requisite things. All the deities have the same splendor and magnificence as Dandanatha. They move about playfully, whirling and shaking plowshare and pestle. The palmyra trees are innumerable. They are as wonderful and bright as fresh gold. Their trunks are a yojana in height. They have very broad and large leaves. Their barks are golden. They are very glossy and smooth. They have good shade and they are fully laden with fruits. From the top to the root, many pots of liquor are kept hanging down from those palmyra trees. All these have been made by the artisans for pleasing Dandanatha. Drinking the palm juice continuously, the chakra deities Jrembhini and others, the Bhairavas, beginning with Hetuka, the seven Nigraha deities, on the seven Nigraha deities Unmatta Bhairavi and Swapneshi, all these are fully intoxicated. In that excitement of inebriation, they dance about all round in the various quarters wherever Dandini happened to glance at. All these deities have the same splendor and magnificence as the goddess. The residence of Dandanatha here is only for her prestige. For the purpose of serving Lalita, she has another residence in the Mahapadmatavi region. Since her mansion is far from the chamber, she has another mansion assigned to her for the purpose of serving Lalita. In the emerald enclosure, 7 yojanas away from it is the rampart wall of coral as pink colored as the morning sun. There the entire ground is paved and beautified with corals. Here Brahma sits in his lotus seat. Brahma, who resembles coral in his complexion, always comes there from Brahmaloka along with all leading sages for serving Sri Lalita Devi. He is always active and alert in his respect. O quafer of the ocean, he remains there along with the creators of subjects, beginning with Marichi. The footnote says coral, verse number 66 to 70, coral enclosure means residence of God Brahma. At the command of goddess Lalita and for the prosperity of the worlds, the great 14 lords, thousands of subsidiary lords, the 64 fine arts, all these assume physical bodies and resort to Brahma's residence in the coral enclosure. Within the coral enclosure and 7 yojanas away from it is the world of Vishnu. The footnote says, verse number 71 to 84 describe the region of Vishnu with ruby mandapas. The first 12 names of Vishnu uttered at the beginning of Sandhya, morning of evening prayer, viz. Keshava, Narayana, Damodara, are regarded as the forms of Vishnu with which he protects the world. In all directions, it is surrounded by ruby mandapas, raised dais with canopies, etc. Eager to serve Lalita, Vishnu assumes different forms 4, 10, or 12, and the eternal Lord Madhava always stays there. The deities of 10 incarnations who rose up from the nails of Sri Devi in the course of great battle with Mandasura reside in the mandapa made of ruby. The only difference in this chamber from the previous ones is this, that the surface is covered with that of ruby stones here. There within the chamber, the Lord holding the conch, discus, and mace divides himself into 12 forms and accords defense in the quarters, beginning with the east. Keshava, of golden color, holds discus and protects the east. Narayana, resembling the black cloud, holds conch and protects west. As dark as the petals of blue lotus, Madhava, possessing honey, protects everyone. The great Lord Govinda holds bow and has the luster of the moon. He protects the right, that is the southern side. Vishnu, who resembles the filaments of the lotus, holds the plowshare and protects the north. Madhusudana, who has the luster of the lotus and holds Mushala, pestle, protects the southeast. Trivikrama, who has the refulgence of the 5 holes sword in his hand and protects southwest. Vamana, who has the brilliance of the midday sun, holds thunderbolt and protects northwest. Sridhara, who has the luster of Pundarika lotus and has the sharp-edged spear for his weapon, protects the northeast. Rishikesha, who has the luster of lightning and holds the club, protects in the southern quarter or in the lower region. Padmanabha, whose refulgence is equal to that of 1,000 suns, holds the Sharanga bow in his hand and surrounds the ruby dice in a clockwise direction. Damodara, who has all weapons, Damodara, who has all weapons, who is omnipotent and omniscient, who has faces all round, who resembles Indragopa, glowworm, who holds and who holds the noose in his hand, who is never defeated, who is the soul of everything, and who is full of devotion to Lalita, surrounds the ruby dice in a anti-clockwise direction. Thus, by means of his 12 bodies, the lotus-eyed Lord shines in the Vishnu Loka, occupying the ruby dice. Within the enclosure of diverse kinds of gems and 7 yojanas from it, there is a charming dice named Sahasra Stambhaka, 1,000 columned. The footnote says, verse number 85 to 94 give the description of a 1,000-pillared hall and the residence of Shiva. This Shiva is Sri Devi's devotee on a lower level. Mention of 28 Shaiva Agamas in verse number 89 does not clarify whether the Advaita or Dvaita theory is advocated by them. It is set with and beautified with different kinds of gems. There is enclosure chamber there, which is very high and which is built of different gems. There is a row of 1,000 columns transversely. There are many such rows in the 4 directions. The covering above is as before by means of blocks of gems and jewels. It is there that Shiva's world stands aloft with sparkling splendor. It is remembered that the 28 Shaiva Agamas, scriptural texts of Shaivite philosophy, are present there in embodied form. There are excellent persons there, the chief of whom are Nandin, Bhringi, and Mahakala. There are thousands of elephant-faced lords. There are deities of 26 tattvas in that excellent Shivaloka. On the hall of 1,000 columns, Ishana, the moon-crested lord, is the knower of all lores. He carries out the orders of Lalita and abides by them. He repeats the mantra of Lalita continuously. He is always delighted in his mind. By means of his benign vision, special to him, he illuminates the power of intellect which has the form of great refulgence of his devotees. He does so for the sake of enabling his devotees to achieve the mantra of Lalita. The power of intellect can thereby be competent to dispel the dense darkness within and without. Mahadeva, who stays in the 1,000-columned hall, is omniscient. He does everything. He is full of devotion to Sri Devi. O pot-born sage, he stays there resorting to different enclosures.